So if I'm a better person out in the world, then I'm going to be a better person when I'm helping grieving people. I'm going to
Yeah.
be a better person when I'm teaching students how to be a better person to help grieving people. I'm going to be a better person when I'm helping tend to animals who have been abused or tortured. I'm going to be a better person just all around in all the things I do. I'm going to bring my full, complete self without fear to whatever moment I'm in. And I think to me that's the best utility of my practice.
Yeah, this is so true. This is the old putting the oxygen mask on yourself first, right? So you're not running out and throwing your neuroses into the same problem, right? The less neuroses you can bring, the better. Of course, we all bring our own neuroses, but
Sure.
yeah,
Sure. But I think it's deeper than that too. So there was a double
yeah.
blind randomized controlled trial that was conducted in Germany. This is a really important study. And they
Mm,
looked at people with capital D depression. And I will tell you that a lot of people who are diagnosed with capital D depression, oftentimes it comes comorbid with grief or trauma or both.
mm, yeah,
Okay, so it's not exactly in my wheelhouse, and yet I know that it is because I know it overlaps. Okay,
yeah.
but it's a double blind randomized controlled trial, which is a causation study, and it's an intervention study that establishes causation when it's double blind randomized. There's no standard higher than that. For those of you
Yeah.
who don't understand research, that is the top of the line research study. So neither the researchers nor the participants knew which group they were assigned. They were assigned to one of two groups. A group of all the therapists were trained, I think it was CBT, trained in the same method. But during their care of the people with capital D depression, this group of therapists meditated and this group of therapists did not. At the end, double blind, randomized
Mm.
controlled trial, at the end, the patients of the therapists who meditated did better than the patients of the therapists who did not meditate. Now, the patients didn't meditate, the therapists
Incredible.
meditated. Right,
Yeah.
right, right. Because it gave them space to be with what is without
Gave the
having to
therapist
distance.
space to be with what is. Gave the
Correct.
yeah.
Without having to distance. There was a study done on veterans, on therapists with veterans, and they found that therapists distancing language predicted veteran suicide.
Yeah.
This is serious business.
Wow.
If therapists are listening to this, it is your responsibility to work on yourself.
Yeah. This is like, can you imagine? I'm now thinking of an image in my mind where, a therapist meets with a patient. They talk, and at the end, and the therapist says, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to meditate 10 minutes a day from now on to help
Oh
you.
my God.
Right?
That needs to be a cartoon. I love it. I mean, I actually love that. And that is basically what the study found, a double blind randomized control trial.
Mm,
That just the act of the therapist meditating. Why are we not teaching this in school?
yeah,
In pedagogical models everywhere. We should be teaching this to all aspiring therapists and counselors and even spiritual providers.
yeah, absolutely. So you don't know when you go, like, obviously our audience are already on the meditation
Yeah.
bandwagon, the majority of them. But I think it's beautiful to know that you possibly, when you're sitting, that you're going out in the world as a better person and helping people just through that practice. So,
Yeah.
we all say, "Oh, I hope to benefit all beings." Actually, meditating, it seems we have some evidence, therapist, of course, but maybe we can extend that meditating helps others directly.
100%. I mean, not
Hmm.
maybe. You can
Yeah,
extend that with a double blind randomized control trial. You can extend that.
I love
And
it.
listen, anyone who's a therapist who meditates knows this.
Yeah.
Really, you know this because it is much harder to sit with a story of trauma and grief if you don't have a practice. There will
Mm,
be everything in you will be saying distance, 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 try to fix them, try to heal them, try to do something magical to them to make them feel better. And when you meditate, you don't have that impulse. You're
yeah.
not compelled to try to fix someone. Your capaciousness allows you to just be in the space with them. And
Mm,
that is what helps people.
mm. It's incredible. I'd never heard of that. That. double blind experiment
Yeah.
before, but that's profound.
Yeah.
That's profound.
Yeah.
Maybe if you have a link to that, I'd love to put it in the show notes for people if they wanted to check it out, because that's incredible.
Yeah.
That's incredible.